Uncommon Sense with the Senior Delinquents.
The elite tour players make golf look easy, even at the most difficult level. Many observers feel confident that even accomplished golfers would stand little chance of breaking 100 from the back tees. It's not just length, but how the course conditions are set up. To prove it, here at the Valspar Tour Championship in Tampa, let's check out just how tough the Copperhead course is. The putting greens, they may look pretty on camera, but don't be fooled. TV also hides many of the humps and steepness of the putting surfaces, and they're also lightning fast. Now this little putt and this green looks pretty easy to putt on, pretty flat, doesn't it? Wrong. You need the touch of a brain surgeon to win here. With the greens, slick doesn't necessarily mean soft. If the sun's out and there's a little bit of wind, they are hard. Well, see for yourself. The pros put a huge amount of backspin on the ball, but if the greens are sloped, look out. These days, the pros are hitting monster-length drives, so it only stands to reason that the course is set up monster-length distances.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain. We're on our final approach. We're flying over the par 5 14th hole at the Copperhead Golf Course, and we will be past it in just a minute or so.
One word describes this rough. It's tough. If you can find your ball, try to get it out.
Aha! I thought so.
The Valspars played in Florida, flat as a pancake, right? Wrong again. Don't let the cameras fool you. The 18th hole of the Valspar, it goes up, way uphill. If you've never seen golf played at the tour level, whether as a fan of the game or as a player, you owe it to yourself to visit the spectacle of golf at the highest level, to see the best players in the world playing with incredible skill and ability. It's mind-boggling.
You know, Jamie, you're absolutely right. These courses are long, they're difficult for tour players, for amateurs. I mean, they're just plain tough. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a spectacular another edition of Uncommon Sense with the Senior Delinquents. I'm Dennis Silvers here in Las Vegas, along with Jamie McWilliams, who is in Tampa, Florida. And Jamie, you know, the USGA, the R&A want to roll back the ball for these guys. What do you think of that? And do you think that's going to really help preserve some of these historic, shorter courses? What's going to happen with that?
I'll give you my short answer. Yes, I would suggest rolling back the ball, because when you had persimmon woods and softer golf balls, you hit a drive to 30, to 40, you were hitting a long ball. And everything is relative.
Yes.
I don't remember in the old days that people were saying, oh, these pros, they don't hit it far. I'm sorry. The guys are hitting it over 300 yards now, 318, 320. If you rolled it back to so they're hitting it 280 to 300 yards, if you're at an event,
Right.
You're still going to go like this. Whoa. So to me, it's all relative. And the truth of the matter is we all overstate our distance. Ask somebody what they hit the ball, and they'll take their longest drive, and they'll say, oh, 240, when in reality it may only be 200 or 210.
Tour players say, look, we've trained all of our lives to hit the ball far. That's what we want to do. Golf fans that go out to tournaments such as yourself, they love seeing these guys pipe the ball 300 plus down the middle of the fairway. The manufacturers don't want to get involved in having to produce another ball. I think it's opening up a can of worms, Jamie.
It could be. You see somebody out there hitting the ball 270 yards now, scaled back, and then you see Bryson DeChambeau or Dustin Johnson hitting it. It's still who's the top dog. It's relative. There are things they can do to the ball itself too without maybe reducing distance. You know, the aerodynamics now are such that at the speeds they're contacting that ball, it's kind of self-correcting. So they could do things with the dimple pattern, perhaps, where the ball has to be hit more accurately, that it won't just go straight, basically. Because I'll tell you the truth, when you look at these guys on TV or in person, everything looks like it's perfectly dead straight. That's one way to do it.
Let's toughen up the courses also. Bring in the fairways, grow up the rough, put the pins in more difficult places.
These guys are so conditioned, they're so strong, and they make such good contact that they are still probably, if they're not in terrible shape, able to work it. And when you say, well, let's make the greens tougher, these guys make the putting look relatively easy.
Taking care of business.
Because they chip them in, they get them from the sand. So they are incredibly tough, but they're making them look like they're not as tough as they really are. So how far do you push that envelope?
You know, I'm getting so worked up, Jamie. I think we're going to take a commercial break right now and come back with more Senior Delinquents.
One of the things you want to look for will be features from the Senior Delinquents and myself on a couple publications you might want to check out. In Florida and the South, there's Southern Golfer. If you're up north in New England, check out New England Golf and the Senior Delinquents on that site. You'll be glad you did.
There's been a lot of talk, a lot of controversy about the LIV Tour. I like the LIV Tour. I know Patrick Reed. I know Larry Klayman, who's an attorney involved in both LIV and the PGA Tour. And recently they had one of their events in Orlando, Florida, that Jamie got to attend. Take a look.
This is my first time at an LIV or LIV golf tournament, and it is a grand experiment. Everything is a little bit different than what you would find at a regular PGA Tour event. But I think right now the PGA is probably looking at this and taking certain elements and applying it to them. The question is, over time, will it be a war of attrition or a merger between the two? I think it's going to be one survives, but more likely they're going to find a way to work together. And the golfers will benefit. The big question is, will the fans be there for the amount of money that's going to be put into this grand endeavor?
Did you know a lot about LIV before you came out here, or is it just curiosity to see what it's all about?
Well, you know, some of my favorite golfers are on the LIV Tour, and Orange County National is my home course, so I came out here to check it out.
So this is your first time?
This is my first time at the LIV Tour, yeah.
What were your expectations, and what are you getting?
I expected golf baloud, and I'm getting golf baloud. Let's go!
It's fun, it's exciting, there's music, it's not so formal where you feel like you have to be quiet. I like it.
They say there is no I in team, and here they've got a bunch of teams, and they want you to root for them. The players, their perspective might be a little different. They support each other, they do things together, but when it comes down to winning or losing a tournament, well, money speaks pretty loudly then.
Everyone pulls for the team to do good, but once you get to the course, everyone knows their game in an individual plan. You know, you and your caddy kind of have your plan, and you got your spots that you're trying to hit, and that's so yeah.
Music everywhere, and that's pretty unique to the LIV Golf. The players don't seem to mind. In fact, on the tees, a lot of them, I think, like the rhythm to get their game going. Well, how do you look at all this? Well, let me put it this way. How do you listen to all this? They have almost 150 of these large speakers around the course, but also a lot of kids. Hello. And you wonder if this is not the new face of golf, especially for families. With all the music and all the commotion, as long as your kid's not a crazy little brat who's going to run under the green, you don't have to worry about them being hush-hush quiet with this atmosphere. So family-friendly, I'd have to give the thumbs up to LIV. It's been years since the 16th hole at the TPC Scottsdale gave new meaning to stadium golf with stands and raucous fans. Every new invention can be traced back to the past, and LIV Golf may be pushing the envelope to the next level.
I think certainly back when they started that and it became such a thing, I certainly think that a lot of tournaments looked at it as like, hey, maybe we want our own 16th hole. For our purposes, we're looking at a much broader picture in terms of people having fun, not just on one hole, but on 18 holes plus all the other fan villages and all the other places.
Having experienced my first LIV event, I have to admit, I was pretty excited about it, for the opportunity to see how they do it. Of course, I had 20 questions. Some remain unanswered, but that's part of the excitement. Where are they going? What's going to be different? They're innovative, and with the input of the players, I don't think LIV is going to go away right away. If you haven't gone to an event, give it a try. I think you'll like it.
I live in the Villages.
And I've lived in the Villages longer.
But I like the Villages because it's got so much to offer.
And there's going to be so much more that you're going to learn about the Villages. So many surprises coming to you this summer with Golf and Safari.
Dennis, I really had a lot of anticipation in seeing what would happen at the Masters this year because they had a bunch of LIV players who qualified. And I think the Masters did the right thing to say, you need our qualifications, you're there. Brooks Koepka, the week before at the LIV tournament, he was saying, I welcome coming back and seeing Rory and all the people. My feeling was that the top players, Koepka, Reed, who also finished very high in Orlando, and Mickelson, when the top players are on their game, they can play anywhere. They know the course. They came through and they performed. But when you look down the field at the other LIV players, they did okay, but it was a mixed bag. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the top five were LIV players, which is spectacular. And I think the story that they missed, Jamie, and I think you'll agree with me, is Phil Mickelson coming in second, shooting 65 on the last day.
Unbelievable.
I mean, come on. He'd normally be in the booth. He would be doing interviews, but nothing. And I thought that was rather strange, Jamie.
Phil has not been tearing up the LIV Tour. The Champions Tour, he dominated that coming right out of the gate. But that finish was absolutely spectacular.
And I think that's going to give him some momentum going into the LIV events that, are upcoming. And I'll bet you he's going to have some pretty good tournaments because of that.
Let's see what happens. But I think they're going to be around for a long time. One concern, though, is with Saudi moving toward China, that politically could be a problem in the future, but it might be the old story of that if there's enough money there, just the money seems to be the dictate.
That is absolutely right. And I go back to the old saying, Jamie, live and let live. I think that's going to do it for this show. Don't forget, catch us on our website, seniordelinquents.com. You don't want to miss an episode.
Dennis, it's that time again, but instead of the olives, my garnish is going to be our topic of today, the golf ball. So until next time,
delinquent.
Hi ho, Silvers, away.